times cheaper than a 4-star here. So our pricing is quite on the high side.
Yeah, excellent. That's a good point. So it's an integral part of the economy. Hospitality is an integral part of the economy. You know, you don't get to experience the economy differently from the hospitality sector differently. And that's one of the key issues, as you know, Elon is actually expressing. For example, let's say that you say because of tourists, right? Want to make the airport fantastic, like look good. But the point is that when they come out of the airport, they are going to join a taxi, isn't it? And they're going to drive to a particular hotel. So the road that they are using, are they going to use a different road from what the people are using? No. Okay. Now, the kind of food that they're going to eat, yes, it's going to be prepared in a 5-star hotel, but the raw material is going to be sourced from the same place that the Makwala people source their product, isn't it? So one of the issues with the hospitality is that it's an integral part of the entire economy. And so whatever the foreign the tourist is actually experiencing, or whatever the locals are experiencing, the tourist or the foreigner who is actually participating in the hospitality is also experiencing the same thing, you know. So if the economy is not in a good shape, in order that cost of living will be cheaper, certainly hospitality will be expensive as well. Are you getting it? So the issue is that the cost of living of the country is a reflection of how much hospitality costs, the tourist. And so if the economy is not good, certainly your hospitality industry is not going to be good in terms of living, what do you call, cost aspect, because your country is not having the right economic indices, all right? The forex exchanges are high. I mean, your currency is less competitive to the international, currencies. Obviously, you have inflation on the high. All these indicators, so long as they are not good, certainly your hospitality and tourism industry will be expensive. Today, I just had an alert that apparently they're going to increase fuel prices tomorrow. I don't know how true it is. But if they're going to increase fuel prices tomorrow, surely that's going to add up to the hospitality industry. So Jifa is going to add up to her price in her eatery in what do you call Taiba, and the traveler who is actually coming along is going to feel it, and then he will go and say, "Oh, Ghana is too expensive." Why? Because the locals themselves are not having it any easier. So one of the issues that we also have to, as management, and because we're talking about these things, because the MSc is a managerial program, all right? So the assumption is that when you do the MSc Hospitality and Tourism, it means that you are engaging in managerial level of hospitality and tourism. Are you with me? And that's why we're discussing these things, which means that one of the prime concerns of management in hospitality and tourism is about the cost of living in a country. How do you influence policy in order that the cost of living is okay and it would actually reflect on the what do you call the cost of hospitality and tourism, when the arrivals are actually participating in it. It must be a concern. And so as part of managerial decisions, to what extent are you observing the local economy and letting it reflect in your managerial decisions? Are you with me? You cannot be pricing differently from what the economy is. So if you're actually making your pricing decisions and you're oblivious of the economic indicators in the country, you're actually running your business down. Are you not? So as a hospitality and tourism manager, you must be concerned with national policies. You must follow national discourse. You must be aware of what the economics indicators are, the economic indicators are in a country, because it has a direct relationship with your business. Do you get it? And that's what we are actually discussing some of these issues. So the career progression issues that even Kasim actually highlighted. One of the things that we realized were the reasons are the reasons why there was no clear-cut career progression was even the availability of the capacity building, and that's why the hospitality and tourism course was introduced. Because if you look at in the past, majority of the academic or the learning what do you call activities or the learning avenues in the field were very much operational level. Yeah. So somebody goes to hot cuts, does any of these things, and that's the end. All right. I mean, the highest people had was maybe first degree of a tourism course from UCC, yeah, or from KNUST. Hardly did you see hospitality and tourism as a master's program. Majority of times it was just a course attached to some other courses, especially when you go to the geography department in Legon. All right. So it is not something that is on its own, stand on its own merit. It was embedded in some kind of area. So the knowledge itself, was at a very limited level. All right. And then, of course, you come to the behaviors of owners and management. Most of the time, they prefer foreigners. Yeah. And I'm sure, Kasim, you are right. You realize that
Yes, it's true.
most of the time within the hospitality and tourism industries, you see a Lebanese manager or, what do you call it, a manager from, well,
South
which
Africa.
country? South Africa.
South Africa, the Netherlands.
Exactly.
Yes, that's true.
And then you ask yourself, why those behaviors? Perhaps sometimes we probably would mean that maybe they thought there was no capacity building from this perspective of knowledge. So when we decided on this particular course, these are one of the considerations. So once that gap has been closed, i.e., there's a higher learning, capability or the higher learning opportunities, and people take those courses. Then the question: how do we influence industry to recognize that indeed people now have the opportunities to have a higher learning in the field? How do we then recognize that in practice? So then they have to actually start using, local competences, for such positions. But then there's another issue about attitudes, because the course will not change your attitude. It will tell you how to do these things right. Your attitude and behavior is firmly in your own hands. All right. So we'll make the suggestions, we would actually do the teachings. But whether those ones will reflect in your behavior and your attitude is very much dependent on the individual, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah.
Great point. So yes, we're looking at some of these things. Let me go ahead and let's look at the interrelated nature of hospitality and tourism. Right? And we say that hospitality and tourism industry is the largest and fastest growing industry in the world. Of course, it's true. Only that we sometimes don't see them. All right. People don't see the impact of hospitality and tourism, especially in their daily lives. I mean, people think that, okay, I'm traveling from Accra to Kumasi for a funeral. All right. They go to Kumasi, they are living in a hotel or they are living in a guest house. Or even if they are living with family members, they are living in, they are eating at some restaurant, or for a short period, they're getting some pastries from some corner shop. But it doesn't occur to them that, in fact, that's one of the impacts, or that's one of the what do you call sectors of hospitality and tourism. So when it comes to image issues, and that's another problem, the idea that there is a low level of perception. I mean, there's the people see it as it's not glorifying, isn't it? It's not glorifying to say, you work in a hotel than you work in
Yeah.
a bank, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So you
Yes.
put you put somebody who works in a bank here, and you put somebody who works in a hotel here, and you ask me, well, okay, this lady works in a bank, this lady works in a hotel. Choose one and marry. And then
The banker.
I'm sure you're gonna immediately tell who is going to get it, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you go by the men crypodia, you spoil the whole show. Like this man works in the bank, this man works in the hotel. Choose. so then you go and tell your dad that, oh, I chose the one that works in the hotel.
In the bank.
Yeah, the one that he works in the bank. Then your dad is going to ask you, so you left the bank one and you chose the hotel one, right? You know, and it's because of the way, perhaps, the wages issues, all right, the way we perceive its influence and its power in our lives. All right, some of these things are actually the problems that actually sort of affect the way people perceive it. Okay, so again, whether or not whether in the direct contact with guests or working behind the scenes, the most challenging aspect of working in the industry is creating powerful impressions, and that's what we're talking about. Yeah, how do we create powerful impressions about the industry that people can see its effect or its effect on the human experiences? So these are some of the managerial questions you have to ask yourself, and it has implications on your revenue, on your bottom line. Are you with me? If people do not perceive it highly, they don't want to work in that industry. So you are not able to attract quality staff. Are you with me? And most people are using it as a pass-through, what do you call job. Just like what the teachers have been suffering in the past. Oh, menye ejuma me teacher, menye ejuma papa meja. And that's some of the jobs available attitude, people's attitude too. So you're not gonna get a first class student thinking that I want to work in hospitality. All right. You're not gonna get the people choosing the hospitality industry as their first choice of work. And people are just finishing school and thinking, oh, unless I don't get a job, yeah, I would want to consider it. But if I get a job, I will leave it because of the impressions that we create. So one of the questions that you have to concern yourself as a manager is that what impressions are you creating, for your area itself and for the industry, specifically? What are you doing to make sure that you can create lasting impression in terms of your managerial decisions? Are people being seen as smart people? Are you giving them training, like the requisite training to actually position them in a way that it looks attractive, to work? I think those days, even working in a hotel looked attractive those days. Now, I don't think it does.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the issues that you think, image issues? Yeah, let's go on. Any ideas, image issues? I mean, from your practice, what are some of the perceptual issues? Yeah, Ifa.
Yeah, for me, I think that there's a big issue because for my place, for instance, you have trainings for people and all that, but still they don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
It will surprise you to know that sometimes I used to get this SS leavers, GSS leavers.
Mm-hmm.
Now I even go for diploma guys and they are clueless.
Wow.
They are clueless. I mean, sometimes once I know we didn't I'm like, but you don't know what it is. So you wonder
that
what
some common sense should prevail, right?
Yes, once a the basic one, they don't have it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this person is asking for not a 500 series, so wants to be paid 1,000 to.
Wow.
Is knowledgeable about its net and not your pay. But the business you bring in to be able to pay that amount, that one they don't want you to talk about it. For them, they have to appear dressed every day, and then end of month they take their money. So sometimes I tell them that I'm not running a charity organization. You need to work and then get paid for it. So I seriously do not know how we can get over this, because now I don't even get diploma guys, because they come, you pay them huge and that's it. Omumbo. So I've also decided I'll be going for these ones now. Then,
So
but I'm hoping that with time.
any other addition? Any other addition?
So, sir, I think that one of the challenges is also that that has to do with image or reputation. Is our leadership.
Mhm.
Leadership in the hospitality industry, for example, especially the ones that are managed by government institutions.
Mhm.
You know, government institutions such as Senate, such as University of Ghana, such as KUST, they have their accommodational unit. They call
Yeah.
it guest houses and all that.
Mhm.
What happened is that somebody may come, he's a senior person, but he has not got any single idea in hospitality.
Yeah.
And that person is your leader. I don't know whether to call it superiority complex or inferiority complex.
Yeah.
You're a small man, Kasim, you're a small man. What do you know? Even if you have practical experience and you humbly suggest, it is not accepted. So you stand back and you see human being making unpardonable mistakes.
Yeah.
But of course, you have to keep quiet. You don't have to talk.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So
for me personally,
let me sum up what you have said before I forget. So it means that at the level of leadership, we are not plugging in the right skills and qualifications.
yes, sir.
We are bringing in supposedly learned people who are not actually having the right qualification to be there.
Yes.
Okay, good point. All right, yeah, go on.
So I think that those are the things. So at the end of the day, those are the down there or the lower levels. Some of them, you know, the backlashes in this industry, quality is in the heart and minds of people. So the backlashes, if they don't get it, if the customer doesn't get value for money, he brings back the vent or the anger onto the lower guy.
Yeah.
Through whose no fault that the senior guy has made, and he has to bear the brunt.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, you realize that the customer is angry. So all you have to do is to apologize repeatedly. And honestly, sometimes you have to lie to save the face of the organization and probably leadership.
Yeah. So people
Yes.
think that as for hospitality, anybody can manage it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't. Okay, good, fantastic. Thank you, Aaron.
And so also another impression like we create is, for example, like the staff in the hotel industry for per se, sometimes there are no growth. Like you don't see that you have the opportunity to grow, because let's say a front office staff and you as publicity, you realize that people have been there for a very long time, and they are not able to. You can't move from one stage to another. It's static, and they are not ready to also improve on themselves, like to explore other opportunities. So sometimes it makes growth, like you contemplate on whether you are going somewhere or not. And if you want to have a career in it, sometimes it can like it demotivates you to even put in your efforts to.
I get a point.
Yes.
So these are some of the issues that are affecting the impressions about the industry. With regards to the growth or no growth, issue, what do you think are the reasons why there are no path to growth, apart from the idea that they are recruiting foreigners? What do you think are some of the other problems?
Okay, hello, go ahead.
Well, I think most of the hotels in Ghana are privately owned.
Yes.
Okay, apart from the multinational ones, those ones we take them out, the Golden Tulips and the rest, we take them out. But some of the well-known hotels too that are doing well are privately owned. So like there's one hotel in Accra that is doing very well, it's privately owned. The owner takes his kids to go to hospitality school, blah, 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 and all that with no experience, no practical experience. So then they come from nowhere, they come and then they are the bosses with not much experience on the ground. That is also part of the reason why there's not much growth, because if someone is working there for so many years and it's expected that the person will move on to the next level, you are working hard to move on to that next level, but then someone else also comes from somewhere to fill up the place. So you are stagnant. That is what happens with most of the privately owned hotels or guest houses.
Great point. But isn't that the case of many other sectors or all the other sectors that are owned by individuals, that the owner would bring their children to manage, whether they have the expertise or not? I'm trying to explore other ideas. So the point I'm making is that then how do we solve it? Because even in all sectors, even in manufacturing, for example, still people set up the companies, they bring their children from nowhere and say, Akwesi, take control. And the person who is already having the requisite qualification, Akwesi is now his boss. So there's no path to growth. How is that different from the hospitality? Just trying to explore further. Yeah. Or in some sector, yeah, Kasim, go on.
Sorry, I wanted to add up to what my sister said. So, you know,
Kasim, the class is not big, so know your sister's names.
I'm not sure whether it was Elom who just spoke.
It's Elom.
Yeah,
it's Elom.
Yeah, okay, so whenever someone is speaking, please check so that my brother will cut them short.
Okay, so
we have to know ourselves, but we have to be bonded because the
true.
class is not big, you know.
Oh,
so our networking has to be so strong. You get it?
Yes,
so that we use it and let's bond.
Okay.
Amen.
Amen.
I was just trying to say that the hospitality industry in particular is largely, like she said, it's largely owned, by private individuals. The few ones that are owned by government entities are also, they have outsourced management, to come and manage. For example, Labadi Beach Hotel is for SNIT, but even a foreign company from UK is the one managing it. So when it happens like that, and they even employ people, they are like, I don't know whether to call it semi-private or completely private entity, such that there's no job security. So job security will make people to not to be so much committed, because even if you step on a small toe that you could be forgiven, it can lead to a sack. So people come and they have, because in organizational theory, it is said that people go into organization with their heart and minds. So if they go and they see that their own interests are not regarded at all, then their commitment level becomes something else. Hence, they.
Agree. But let's solve that problem. Let's discuss that problem we talked about. Owners bringing their children.
I also think that hospitality industry is a specialized industry.
Yeah.
Meaning that at least the person who is coming to manage it should at least have a bit of practical experience. So if you think your ward or your child that you think that hospitality industry, everybody can manage it, it won't work. So looking at even how we lay our bed in our rooms compared to our normal house, it's not the same. So if the person doesn't know how the practical aspect of it is going to affect the growth and the performance of the industry. And as my sister and my brother Kasim is saying,
brother, please check their names. Your sister is Kasim. And your brother is Kasim, sorry.
My brother and then as they are saying, majority of our industry is owned by private people. And when you compare it with the manufacturing industry, you can sit in the office and then go around. But the hospitality industry, at least, you should get a competent people to manage it. So if your child doesn't go through this internship and practical aspects, we find it more difficult satisfying our guests.
Yeah. Fantastic point. I mean, does that mean that we probably have to enforce policy to say that the implementing agencies and the policy making agencies must make it a prerequisite that you cannot just bring your child to go and head your pharmacy if he didn't have pharmaceutical certificate. And because of that, in the same vein, you cannot bring your child to come and head a hotel if they don't have the requisite hospitality and tourism certificate. Can we actually say that? And then perhaps let policy lead that conversation.
No, I don't think so. I
Yeah.
don't think so, because the problem I think we have is that our workforce here, I think we do better. For example, let's say when you bring a foreigner to head your place, the place tends to do better than when you use the indigens. Why? Because I think the color factor that we have, you know, that mentally we have Bruni, so Obia is alert. You see, so once that is not solved, I'm not sure we'll get through with this, because you have people that work with the Chinese and all that. They maltreat them, they do whatever to them, but they work with them for years. But when they come to you, you do whatever for them. I mean, in 3, 4, 5 months, they go. Some will even leave, not tell you anything. But when they come, they'll tell you the horrible stories of what they went through there. But you ask yourself, I keep asking them, so why did you stay there for all these years? They have nothing to tell you.
Okay. So the question about so we have strands of issues that is affecting the impressions. I mean, some of them were saying that the job, progression, the career progression is not there. And we're saying that one of them is people filling spaces with their relatives who are not even qualified. Now, those answers, we need to have them, for managerial decisions. And we're saying that I'm asking that, can we then advance policy to deal with that? Because in pharmacy, you can't bring your son to say that because the pharmacy is yours, your son is coming to take over, when they do not have pharmaceutical qualifications, for example. All right. I mean, maybe in managerial position they can, but in the dispensing of drugs, etc., they cannot. I mean, in other sectors, it probably will require some detailed knowledge. So, for example, if you have a bank and your child is not actually in that frame of finance, etc., they probably cannot manage it, isn't it? I think in the same way, but would the regulator require a certificate in that particular field to say that you are competent in handling because you have A certificate or B? So I think these are some of the things we have to actually concern ourselves with. How do we enhance the impressions of the sector? And perhaps some of the questions have to be led by, or the activities or actions have to be led by industry, the industry players, i.e. the regulators, etc., in order that we can actually enhance that image. So we have settled on that the sector has image issues, based on some of the things that we've talked about. So in your managerial decisions and in your policy discussions, those of you who are members of the federation, and this, I'm sure some of you are members, right? Are some of you members of the federation?
No.
I am not. I am not.
Miss, I'm not.
But Jifa, are you a member of the federation? She's not here. Okay.
Yeah, she's not here.
All right, fine. All right, so let's go on. Now, again, we're looking at the interrelated. When you look at the next slide, when you look at the restaurant and managed services, usually we'll talk about managed services as services that have been, subscribed by officers or some sectors. All right. So let's say that the army has actually invited you to cook for them. All right. So you are the outsourced agency that cooks for the army, the Ghana army, or you are the outsourced agency that cooks for University of Ghana staff. All right. That's managed services. All right. And the managed services, although you are cooking, you're doing the same thing as a restaurant, isn't it? But in the case of restaurant, they're providing food at the same time they're providing socialization. All right. So the objective of a restaurant is only to eat. Do you get it? The restaurant
Yes.
is providing feeding in addition to socialization. But when it comes to managed services, you're actually, providing food. So in these two instances, the two of you are providing food, but under different context. Now, the one who is actually providing the managed services, you have two clients, isn't it? The company who's outsourced you, and so you're being paid through that, and then the person who is going to eat the food. So these are the two clients you have to actually, satisfy. So in terms of managerial decision, you have to understand the implications of these two customers on your company or on your operations, isn't it? So the first customer being the one who, the administrative arm who subscribed your product, all right, your services. And then the second customer being the one who is consuming the product, which are the military guys, the army, who are going to consume. So you need to be aware that the perspectives of these two people sometimes can be counter, all right? Because the administrators are thinking about, oh, how much is per plate? Then you say, oh, per plate is 50 Ghana. Says, it's too expensive. Can you cut it down to 20 Ghana? We want to pay 20 Ghana per plate. Then you go, okay, 20 Ghana per plate, it will affect the ingredient. You get it? They say, yeah, but go ahead and do it. And then the military guys eat the food and they go, Charlie, this food is too dry. Yeah. So in terms of your managerial decision, you have two people to satisfy. In as much as you're thinking about the cost implications for the management that actually subscribe the food, you should also be mindful of quality from the perspectives of the one who is actually consuming it. Right. Now, in terms of the first one, the restaurant one, again, for that one, you have only one customer to satisfy. Yeah. But know that that customer is actually consuming the food in the context of socialization. Otherwise, they would have actually ate at home. So sometimes people actually come into your restaurant because of the ambience, because they will have some people to talk to, because they will see some people, because they will hear some nice music, For me, for example, I'm an outward person. If you bet, I can eat in fact, I've been eating in a restaurant for the past 6 years. Not that you bet. Not that you bet. Don't even bet. I will eat. Yeah. So again, you must take into consideration some of these issues. Under which context are you providing the service? All right, in terms of hospitality and tourism, under which context? Who are the key clients involved, and how would their perspective influence your decision? That has to also be taken into consideration when you're having a managerial decisions to take. Who can add something to this point? We just kind of introductory section, some of these things. Yeah. Who has had some other experiences? Any other experiences somebody can add? We're looking at the interrelated relationships, some of the core issues. Any ideas? Any ideas? Okay. Now, other issues that we can look at is the idea that, the internet, for example, has also come into the domain. All right. Currently, as we speak, almost internet is almost ubiquitous, and they're saying that about 57% of consumers now use internet to book their travel. So we're now looking at how technology is also impacting the field now. All right. And I'm sure not only, what do you call booking of, travel, but we're talking about ordering food, etc. I think Abrifa, is that Abrifa, right? Is that correct? Have I pronounced it right? Is she here?
Abrefi.
Abrefi. Is Abrefi here?
No, I don't think so. Her phone is problematic.
Oh, okay. Has she used her phone to connect?
Okay. Then I'm sure she's trying to.
Yeah. Now, so Abefi was talking about how she did well during the COVID because people are booking, food and in fact, COVID actually brings into play technology a lot.
Yes.
The idea that now physical spaces have become a taboo, and so we are forced to live online, and it's what we're experiencing now. In fact, someone just said that, oh, so all these beautiful buildings, we are no longer occupying them. Like the graduate school, for example, when we built, and things like that. And I hear that in some countries, some companies have actually rented, have given away their buildings. In its entirety. They've switched off the lights, etc., because obviously people have to work from home, and they're making savings. So they even fear that some companies will take them up as the modus operandi. Like they will start saying, in fact, you rather want to use your home as the business, the office, and start paying people bills like electricity bills and things just for them to work from home, and its implications. So we see technology becoming very pervasive in the businesses. All right. What are our perspectives? Do we think we're going to see more technology or less technology? People complain that, or people say hospitality is about people. All right. And here are we now. Yes, the people factor is actually be reduced. Are we going to see more technology or are we going to see less technology? And which part of our business are we going to see technology in? Yeah? Let's go on. Discussion. Let me hear you guys before I start mentioning names. Yeah? Harriet. More or less technology in the space. I'm listening. Or which part of the service are we going to see more technology? Which part of it are we going to see, less technology? Any ideas?
There'll be there'll be more technology in terms of people looking for let's say places to visit and stuff like that. Now there's access to all these apps that can tell you and even let you know how much you can budget to go to certain places. So I think there will be more technology making it easier to be able to access these hospitality places that you like to visit.
Okay, so you're talking about information search.
Information search
stage of the consumer behavior. Okay. So consumers are going to use more technology in searching for where to go.
Yes.
So what is the implication as a manager? What's the implication to you? What does that mean to you as a manager? Knowing that people are now going to use more technology to search for information and where to go.
So if people are going to be using technology to search for where to go, and it will mean that competition too will be high with other places. So as a manager, I would have to come up with ideas, ideas that will attract people, or that will bring traffic to my side.
So ideally, from what you are saying, it means that the traditional walk-in, let me check what they have and let me go and eat there.
Yes.
Which usually we have the opportunity to convince them, oh, that's the best place you've come. Oh, have a seat. We're going to lose that. So the person is not even coming to bump in and say, oh, do you have Gary? Do you have this? Do you have that? He's standing by the roadside, picking up an app and checking. Which one has Gary? Which one has this? So you may not have the opportunity to explain yourself.
Yes, exactly.
So if they come, that's where you have opportunity. Oh, you didn't see Gary on my menu. Oh, we have it, but we haven't updated the list. You know, that opportunity to explain yourself. The person is going to ask the questions on the technology and say, can you tell me, this place, whether they have that, It means that your inventory control must be, up and you're updating of the places, the information systems must be up and doing. Because you've got to ask yourself, where is the customer looking out for the information? Where? So are they on Ghana Web? Are they on Joy News platforms? Are they on a particular app? Are they looking for apps? And whether you have an app, David, let's listen to you.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, David.
Okay, so on shift, you were talking about how technology is it going to go a bit higher, or is rather going to reduce. She was like, maybe we need to me, I believe that now it's about the managers to now even update their database on the internet so that it will be accessible, easily accessible to their clientele base. Instead of thinking that technology is coming to help if you cannot do your part of the work, because maybe you are in a particular resort, some are down, some area where nobody knows there. I mean, with technology has come to you, you need to use it wisely, or you need to use it very well. In using it, you need to now put up the particular accessories or particular items, or yes, let's say the tools that, or the menus that you use there, or the activities that you do there. So let's say where I'm standing, I could go on Google and pin it and just put, the particular name there and all that. So now you can now publish it in other places where you think your clientele that you need them to come to your place.
Okay, great point. Thank you, David.
I don't know whether you are getting my point.
I get the point you're making. So the point you're making is that technology itself will not do the work for you. It's a combination of the people issues and the technological availability, isn't it? So yes, the technology will be available, but it takes a human being to do the updating. Isn't it? Yeah. So we have to be aware of the people issues as well. All right, Ellen.
Yes, I was also going to say that you realize that in terms of the hotel side doing, the hospitality side doing what it has to do, you realize that before the COVID and the lockdown and all, if you liked you tried to book or buy food online, you realize at the time, that was just probably late 2019, early 2020. It was very frustrating, annoying and all that, trying to order, because you order and they will tell you they have not received it, or something happened along the line and all. But when COVID came in and managers of these restaurants or hospitality places realized that people are booking more and more online, if we don't update our menu, if we don't adjust our prices and stuff like that, we are not going to be getting business.
That's right.
You realize that now it's easier to book online. They tell you get it in 40 minutes or 30 minutes or 60 minutes. And most of the time, most places try to stick to it. So now, like, it's become a bit easier to order food or other hospitality services, or making bookings and making sure that it hasn't been messed up. Now it's very easy.
I remember one of my teams, my IT teams.
Do I get this off?
One of my IT teams contacted one of the popular joints in this Accra, right? I think I can mention him because we have what we call academic freedom, so it doesn't go out, but we use it in class. Starbite, Starbite was contacted by my IT firm to develop an app for them for booking. The guy said that they even are overwhelmed with with orders. So the app was not necessary. You see, he said he said that they're overwhelmed with others, so the app was not necessary. But he was only looking at others, like good times, others are going on. But as to a strategic thinking, okay, even if you're overwhelmed with others, what would technology do for you? And as you said, people will use it to check information, all right, availability of it. So they may not even use it for ordering, all right, but may want to check whether you have food or you have this or you have that. He didn't even think about that. Fast forward 2020, Corona, boom. And in fact, they had been there not long ago. Corona, boom. And everybody is struggling. And now they are now looking for the app. By that time, those who had the app already, where are they? They are gone.
Yeah,
And the customer is such that, and the customer is such that if a customer, some behaviors they are ritual, all right? You don't even identify that you are doing them over and over.
Yeah.
So, and especially that's how why people find it difficult to stop Facebooking and all that. It's a ritual. Before you realize you are checking Facebook, say, I've told myself I don't want to check Facebook for about 2 hours. Some people they don't want to go online for some hours because it's taking all of their time, right? But before you realize, the phone make ping that you take. There's a research that shows that alert system on a phone is what makes people even use the phone the more, because you are actually anticipating, hey, what is it? Or you are thinking, it's kind of a suspense. You want to know what message came. Do you get it? So these online things become habitual. So if you don't take care and a company, a competitor actually takes the lead in setting it up, people will just be using it even if their food is not nice. Yeah. So they had that issue. Hopefully they have resolved it. But the point we're making is that if you do not put yourself in a position where, some of these things are strategic and you can actually take advantage of, before you realize you're out of business, So yes, we have to start thinking about some of these things, which part of our service would technology be very, very, dominant? Which part of it would not be dominant, but will still have the human, factor? Today, I tweeted something. I said that, these emojis, all right, the emojis and then the GIFs and all those things, that the memes that we're using. Yeah. You look at the behavior. Sometimes somebody says something and you're looking for a GIF or a GIF or a meme that can actually express what you want to tell the person properly, isn't it?
Yes.
So you want to tell the person, I will slap you. So you're looking for a meme that can actually show the slap, or a GIF that can actually show the slap proper. Maybe you find one and you think it's not expressive enough. Then you add voice notes. Yeah, you add voice note to it. Do you get it? That's how these things are. Sometimes we even want to enter into the device, the computer, to do the expression ourselves. Do you get it? So these are some of the things we have to be mindful of. Which part of the service are we going to experience more technology? Which part of the service are we going to experience less technology? As we speak, the consumer comfort that they are looking for, all right? People are looking for comfort, convenience, to the extent that they wish they can have digital food. Like, no, it's true. People are becoming so lazy that they wish that, when I picked the phone, I said, I want to buy, fried rice from Taiba. Taiba would deliver it through the computer so that the time is so short. Hey, then I say, okay, the delivery will take 10 minutes. Hey, 10 minutes. Over to and I said, want to me quick. People wish we can deliver through the internet or through the phone. This is the level of convenience people are looking for. Are you with me? And so
yes.
if we don't plan and see where can we leverage technology to make our systems so efficient, so fast, so convenient that people will stick to us, then we are out of business. So as you know, is it Elam or Aram? As you said, information search, for example, you're going to see more technology. It is true. Because information itself is a product, is a need, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It itself is a need. Because before you proceed to the next level of having the product, you want to know first how much it costs and whether your pocket is in tandem with it, isn't it? So that in itself is very crucial for you. I just want to know how much it costs. Without that, you can't move to the next stage of the consumer behavior. So the need itself, the need itself is not only about the food, but also about how much the food costs. You know, and so information search is going to be very, very crucial. So we must, as managers of hospitality and tourism sectors, we must ask ourselves, where is the customer looking out for that information? Where? Which platform? Is it online? Is it apps? Is it by phone? And make sure that we populate all these places with that information so that we are not left out. Otherwise, our competitors will be there, we won't be there. And then the competition will be gone. Are you following the conversation?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So apart from information search, where do you think we're going to see more technology? And all these things are to arm you or to equip you in your decision making so that you know that, okay, information search is going to be more technology. So let me position myself well. Let me see what kind of technology I can adopt, you know, in order that I can actually meet those challenges. Which other part of the consumer's activities do we think we're going to see more technology? Yeah, we're looking at technology and its impact on our service.
So, sir.
Yeah, Kasim.
The little experience I have is that
the experience is not little, Kasim.
When guests or customers are entering the facility or hotel, one of the things that matters most to them is security and safety.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
So technology, it is possible to scan bags or to scan, to inspect bags without necessarily having to waste customers' time.
Yeah.
To improve, to ensure that nobody goes in there with any other kind of weapon to become danger to the rest of the, the guests.
Fantastic.
Yes, nowadays some hotels they have self-check-in at the front desk.
Yeah.
So the electronic devices are there like mobile, boxes, so that you do self-in checking, especially those customers who had made prior reservation before arriving. So all this will create comfort in terms of time with at the front desk or the lobby.
Fantastic.
And then also using the same technology in scanning or checking for security and safety. If your facility does not record casualties relating to artificial disaster, you are most likely to have your reputation positive out there by customers.
Okay, I agree. I mean, in our industry, in our sector, as Kasim just said, security is one of the huge concerns, isn't it? And especially so when you look at reports of, Al-Qaeda people taking hotels and getting to restaurants. In fact, there was a time, was that in Cote d'Ivoire or not? There was a time that we had, no, I wasn't in Cote d'Ivoire then. There was a time that we had Grand Bassam, in Cote d'Ivoire. Grand Bassam is one of the Cote d'Ivoire's, popular hospitality and tourism areas, They have a lot of resorts there. That, these kind of terrorists took over and blasted some hotels, killed a lot of French, tourists, for example. So again, the area that perhaps technology would be much pervasive. It's about how do we use technology to detect and to prevent, some of these issues. And then, of course, even if it's not high tech, what about some of the low tech approaches that we can use to assure, what do you call tourists or arrivals that indeed they're in a very safe areas. It's very crucial. One of them is about announcements, room announcement, for example, maybe letting people know that if they observe any suspicious thing, they should pass on information. Not necessarily even announcing it, but having wall posters saying that if you observe any suspicious thing, please quickly call this number or quickly do that, etc. All right. And then, of course, the check-in processes. Because of that, it's kind of made the check-in processes elaborate. We have to check this, check that. How do you use technology to do that? But that's, we are talking about the big players, using scanners and things, self-check-in scanners, etc. But for the small players like us, again, we must start thinking about how do we actually demonstrate that our places are safe, all right? And for example, if I come to your facility and there's a notice that, oh, there's a CCTV here, do you get it?
Mm-hmm.
That in itself is a check. So there's a big, bold, notice. That is not to scare people, but it's a smile. There's a CCTV, or smile, you are in camera. Do you get it? Those friendly words. Immediately you say smile, you are in camera. I know that there's a CCTV, isn't it? And that assures the customer, who is a very safety conscious, that indeed there are structures available that check some of these things. And then, of course, those with a bad thinking or bad thoughts about maybe wanting to come and cause mayhem, they will also see that, Charlie, there's a CCTV there, so they could be caught. All right. If there is a notice that shows that, oh, you are in touch with the network police, so there's a notice that displays, let's say, a police notice. Let's say, if you find any suspicious, don't forget, ring this number. And then there's a Ghana police badge, that their logo is there. I mean, all of us can say that, well, this facility is very protected, isn't it? But if we don't show some of these things, we don't do some of these things, the safety and security conscious customers would not actually patronize. Or even we're talking about on our apps and things like that, to what extent are we demonstrating that commitment to security, etc.? So we have to think about it. And then, of course, we are talking about technology. I have always advocated that, look, there are some low techs that we can employ. I mean, take a simple hotel, all right? So I get into the hotel, I do the check-in, and then I'm so tired, I get to the room and I just launch myself onto the bed. But I want to know what facilities the hotel has. Yeah. Currently, as we speak, what do you think I can do? Or what is the standard thing that I can do to know what facilities, whether they have a gym, whether they have a swimming pool, where is a relaxing place, where's, what would I do? Or with the current situation, what would I do?
You search online.
Yeah, I search online.
Or you can ask questions.
But I'm tired.
But some
you look around.
Look around, yeah. But I'm tired. I don't want to go anywhere. I want to launch myself in bed.
So some facilities too, they have sliding videos. That slides. You will see all the amenities they have as you glance through. Fantastic. And you may be enticed to even those ones that you have not initially thought of or prepared to consume.
Absolutely.
Yes. Example is Smith Guest House. If you go there and then there's one person on duty at the front desk, for example, he or she may excuse you by saying that, oh, you can have a look at the rooms that you want to look, just right there at the front desk. So they will be flipping and you'll be seeing. Instead of the guy at the front desk to walk you in there, leaving the front desk empty. So, yes.
Yeah, go on.
And also sometimes, for example, Marriott, what they do is when you enter their guest room, then it appears on the screens, your name, and then the kind of facilities and services they also offer. So you're able to see.
Aaron,
yes, sir.
I didn't know that because I was working in these low-cost hotels. One day, BBC invited me to go and speak,
okay.
BBC invited me to their media city. It's a fantastic place. It was then when Mandela was hospitalized.
Okay.
They thought he was about to die, and they wanted experts in politics to talk about, immediately he passes, we discuss Mandela. The media has this kind of sensation on, or this fantasy on, we broke the story first, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So they wanted to break the story first. So they invited me to go. I went there like 4 times. So Mandela was not dying. So the first day I went, and then I was in what hotel they put me in. I've forgotten. Charlie, I entered the hotel. In fact, I struggled a little bit before I entered. I entered the hotel, then the screen just popped up. Hello, welcome to the compliments, sir. I said, hey, Charlie. Then I have to say, Charlie, I've arrived.
You have arrived.
Man, not to this small hotels. Charlie, I get there and I say, hey, my name did a hotel. Stop.
Yeah.
Charlie, that day I was like, hey, Charlie. That day I know say my status changed.
One touch.
One touch, I tell you. So go ahead.
Yeah, so that's what happens. So yeah, that they are able to sell the other outlets to you, and then you see that these are the facilities they have. So you can rest when you're okay. Then now you can, go ahead and explore them.
Exactly, and it has the direct implication on what we call the yield management, isn't it? The revenue management, because
reservations and yield.
Exactly, you end up patronizing other services that you didn't even plan doing. So now, okay, then let me go to the gym. Because it's about experience, isn't it? So you see the gym on the screen, and it's like, hey, Charlie, smart people, those guys who want to watch people. You see, hey, Charlie, this place is going to be nice. So the gym there, they want to go and socialize. And then he hasn't even planned going for gym. He won't go for that. So these are some of the things that can have impact. So especially using artificial intelligence or virtual reality, right? Whereby you have these VR cameras. If I have some here, give me one of the VR cameras. Using VR cameras, all right, in the facility. So the person is lying down, and there's a VR camera there that you can watch. You can put in, and you can actually put it on and watch the hotel, have virtual experience of, the gymming, the swimming, the kitchen, or the kitchen, and then the restaurant. Do you get it? Yeah, this is a virtual reality, a VR camera. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I have 10 VR cameras,
So what does it do?
Yeah,
explain.
So the VR camera it's a virtual reality experience, all right? So you take a video of your premises in a virtual reality form, right? 3D and virtual reality. And then you put the content, the video, usually it's on a phone, yeah? Some of them, I think there is a phone, or some of them are actually, so you put it here. So I'll demonstrate it to you. Pull this one. You see my phone? So you have the VR video on the phone. Then you put it, here, and then you cover it. Now, when you put it on, when you put it on like that, do you get it? When you put it on like that, can you see it?
Yes.
Now, and then you can watch, you can experience the hotel. So show you it's just like Kankan. You remember Kankan? I mean, no, that thing. You know, when we're
Okay.
okay, those of you who are millennials, you may not know it. I don't think Harriet will know Kankaya. No. Those things that they used to do in my market, like Harriet, you are a millennial. So you don't know that thing. You know, when we're growing up, you go to market, they used to have this thing that you watch, you know, it's like some characters, all right? So you watch, yeah, they press it and they say, then they will sing, and then they will take your 1 CD. Yeah, you get it.
Yes.
I
get it.
Yeah, unless you push it with your leg. No. So that thing, that's the advanced form. The virtual reality camera is advanced form. Hold on for me just a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the virtual reality is just like that thing, those days that we used to have them, you know. So it gives you a live experience of the place, all right? So for example, let's take the first place, for example. So you do your cooking, yeah, maybe fried rice, and then you take the photo in a VR, virtual reality, right? So that it brings the ingredients out, like the pepper, this, and that, you know, the simmering of it and all that. Then you put it in a camera. When people watch it and they're experiencing it, it's as if it makes them like want to eat the food. Do you get it? It brings the ingredient out. I mean, the experience of the food out. So by the time he finishes watching it, already the taste buds are actually on the rice, you know, and then he wants to eat the food. That's the effect of virtual reality. It makes you experience it in a virtual form. And once you finish experiencing a virtual form, you want to actually participate it physically. And that's why we're saying that tourism must move towards that, because you may have some people who will have some kind of negative feelings towards your destination, all right? But then once they have that virtual experience of it, they want to, oh, wow, I didn't know the place is fantastic like that. Now I want to go there. Do you get it? Yeah, that's the kind of thing that we're talking about. So we're saying that we're going to experience more technology, you know, in the field, but we have to be mindful to understand which parts of the consumption process are we going to experience the technology, so that we can be prepared for that. You know, we can, as managers, we can actually prepare for that. So these are some of the things. The information search and the experience itself is going to have a lot more technology. Another area that we expect a lot more technology is payment. Yeah, payment. How to pay for the services. You know, can you guys tell me in your places of work, what are some of the payment methodologies that you have? Or you are still using the traditional Mamisika?
No. I'm using credit card, debit card.
Yeah, everyone, let's listen.
Yes, so for us, we accept credit card, debit card, like the Visa, Master. We use the Apple Pay now, where you tap. Yeah, so these are the form of payments and cash. And we accept a few currencies like cedis, dollars, euros, and pounds.
Okay.
So those are the method of payments.
Yeah. And then are you doing the scanning ones as well, the QR coding and all those things?
No.
Okay, once you are using Apple Pay,
yeah, Apple Pay, yes.
Okay. Yeah, you want the child will also want to give some answers. Yes. What's the name? What's the name? Aram.
No.
Right.
Antonio.
Oh, that's nice. Hey, the name is big. Oh, Antonio.
And Andrew.
Okay. Good. Anyway, all right. So you're looking at diversity of payment methodologies, all right, so that it can actually remove those difficulties that people have, you know, and then of course it can also remove things like, you know, security issues. But these days people don't want to work with money, you know, because of a lot of security issues. They want to use card payment, etc. So payment is one of the things that we should expect more technology, you know. And so, unfortunately, if you take my school, for example, we are slow in adopting it. I don't even know why students should still go to the bank to deposit money when they can do it on their mobile phones, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a university for you. We are slow in adopting, you know, conservative, but we hope it will change. Yeah. All right. Which other parts of the service are we expecting more technology? Yes. Let's go on. Then we'll move on to the next line. Let's go on. Feedbacks. Yeah. Feedbacks. You know, customers giving feedback. We should expect more technology in that. All these suggestion boxes that are in your facilities, I don't think they work anymore. Who has a suggestion box in their place?
Oh, yeah.
Who has a suggestion box? Owner, who has a suggestion box? In fact, the business school, we have one in our graduate school. There's a suggestion box.
Seriously?
I'm telling you. And the first I saw it, I was like, really? Who did that? And they said, school administrator asked them to put it. I said, you are not serious. Who has time to write it and go and put it in a box? You know, so certainly feedbacks are very going to be technology oriented, all right? People are going to give their feedbacks. And that's what we see on this apps. And then focus is here, you know, so those of you who want focus, let me know. Okay, so these are some of the, what do you call, experiences, some of the interrelationships that we have. Restaurants are use more than 30 different technologies. Okay, so we've talked about those ones. Okay, let's see characteristics of the industry. All right, so as we said, hospitality is 365 days open, yeah, 24 hours a day. And then of course, you know,
7 days a week.
Yeah, 7 days a week, you know, work longer hours, you know, people are working between 10 to 12 hours. Is that the case in your places?
Yes.
No, for me, no.
Yeah.
Oh, for me, yes.
So what's the length of hours at your place?
For me, we do standard 8 hours.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And
yes,
then
please.
If your place is 10 to 12?
I do standard 10 hours.
Standard 10 hours. Okay. And what's the issue of motivation? Do you see that people get worried by the 10 hours or energy level is
No.
high? So with that, how do you prep them up? How do you get them to be attentive? Because you see, the issue is that with the other sectors, doing 8 hours is even okay, right? Now with hospitality and tourism, especially at times where it's peak period, people are on their feet, you know, almost every time. How do you keep them active? I.e., they are very paying attention to detail, they're on point. Now, how do you keep them, and they don't feel worried? Because sometimes when the staff are a little bit worried, the service is affected, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how do you keep them refreshed almost every time for this whole 12 or 8 hours or 10 hours? What are some of the things that we do to keep them refreshed? Any ideas?
Using my industry as an example.
That's right.
For if you have to work between 10 to 12 hours, okay, the highest would be like 10 to 17 hours. So if you're working that long, 17.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're working that long, we usually have rest in between. So you get at least 4 hours rest, and that will keeps you energized and just able to work long hours. Yes.
Okay, great.
That's what we usually do.
Thank you. Yeah. Any other ideas? How do you keep them refreshed, you know, for all those hours? What about intermittent breaks apart from the maybe usual? So the 4 hours, either is it actually divided into pieces? or it's just one straight hours?
It's usually just straight together.
Okay.
So the team is divided into two, and then one set will go for rest first, and then the rest will keep up with the work, and then when they come back, the others will go.
Yeah.
So it's usually put together, yes.
Okay.
We don't divide it.
I remember in my days when I worked with T-Mobile, although it's not a hospitality place, but we worked long hours. What we used to have is that they used to chunk the breaks into, I think, into 4 quadrants. And so there was two short ones and 2 long ones. All right. And the center had a lot of playgrounds, what do you call? We had basketball places, etc. So, even within that 15 minutes, people played some game to get refreshed and then bounce back. So there were things that were done to keep us energized and to keep us attentive, and then sometimes they will offer, we'll do like quizzes, on shift with the wines. This is why people, they like wine, wine, white wine, red wine. That one itself was a toss, right? And just to keep us, in a very refreshed, positive manner. So again, in the hospitality field, especially where it's a peak period, you have to do something to keep people refreshed and motivated, in order that it doesn't actually impact on the service. Because what you don't want is a waiter who is actually so bored and stressed out, and putting up attitudes. It really can be. So you have to find a strategy to keep people excited, in that sense. And of course, as we said, there are some shifts that we call them graveyard, working between 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. The reason why they're calling them is that it's almost a solitude period. Yeah. And in some countries, when you work in those hours, they pay you extra.
Yes.
Yeah, they pay you extra for that, because it is very much like it's not friendly, so they pay you for that unfriendly hours okay. Right. Again, we're still looking at the characteristics of the industry. Obviously, difficult here is the issue of intangibility, and inseparability of the service. Obviously, one of the service characteristics, or some of the service characteristics, service is intangible, service is inseparable, obviously it's perishable, and those,
variable.
Yeah, variable, So how do we? So obviously, when we say the service is intangible, it means that you cannot feel it, you cannot see it, yeah, you cannot touch it, for example, But of course, you have to experience it. Now, how do we tend to solve the intangibility of the service? Of course, in the hotel and tourism industry, it's a combination, isn't it? They're both tangible and intangible.
Yes.
Unlike financial sector, which most of it is intangible. With the what do you call the hospitality? There's if you see a terrible bed, you see it, isn't it?
Yes.
That the bed is not laid out well, etc. You can see it. If it's terrible, if it's a terrible, what do you call a bathroom, you can see there's a terrible bathroom, So, but the other aspects that are intangible, like the speed of service provision, for example, the food is coming, but it's coming late, and all those things. How do we manage customers' expectation in that sense, in order that they could actually, we can almost remove the intangibility? How do we do that in our places? Yeah. How do we solve the intangibility issue? Pump up.
So sometimes by providing tangible clues.
That's right.
Something that they can see, and then they'll be satisfied at least. Excellent. Before they experience the service.
Excellent. Fantastic. So we're saying that, for example, take security or safety. All right. Now, a place can only demonstrate safety or security unless there has been an experience, isn't it? So you said that your place is very safe and secure. How would you communicate that? You know, unless the person have experienced it and say, oh yeah, it was. But we can still, you know, use some tangible features to demonstrate that the place is secure. Just as Kasim actually said, having scanners, all right, maybe self-serving scanners. So the person comes and goes through the scanner, beep, 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 so he knows that, oh, this place is much secure, all right? And then of course, having those posters, like the posters on the wall showing that if you see any suspicious stuff, please report it to this, or you have a network of police numbers, on there. From time to time, there's a police vehicle crossing because you have actually made arrangement with the local police office to say that, please, my facility after 6 o'clock or 6 p.m., make sure that your police, patrol team passes here every 30 minutes. All these things are things that we have to do in order that can assure clients that indeed this place is secure. Do you get it? So you have, it's 10 o'clock, it's 11 o'clock, and the place is in a very secluded place, yet there's no sign of security patrols around that place. In fact, the lightning is terrible, all right? The street lightning, a cut off, and not even in Dumso. There's full so, but that street lightning is very, very terrible. How would you actually communicate safety and security to your clients? Are you following the conversation? Are you following
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. So just as Aaron said, we need to use some kind of tangible features in order to communicate and eliminate the intangibility, so that people know that, yeah, this place is. I mean, you say that your food is sweet, is nice. Or this restaurant, they have a fantastic, food. But the aroma is not, there. So people pass and they can't feel. Of course, you don't want the aroma to be scent everywhere, but at least there must be some aroma be that passes through, and then people say, Charlie, this food, if I get them, And then there are some photos. When you go to some restaurants and there are some photos of the dishes, yeah? Sometimes some of the abem kwankwa, if you see some, you don't want to chop it. They use some photographer and he's taking a abem kwan photo, and it looks so dark, and but you have to use professional photographer, like polished images, yeah? That immediately your eyes set on the fufu and abem kwan. You see every impurities in it. The crab is there, the snail is somewhere in the corner. It brings appetite. Then the person say, oh, Charlie, this place, he said, how would you know? Say, won't picture in the crowd. The picture tell you, say, my food go be. So we need to use some tangible stuff to communicate the intangibility in order that people's minds will know that, yeah, this place is cool. You get it? And then, of course, the issue of inseparability, that actually says that the production of the service is inseparable, all right? The consumption and then the production is inseparable, all right? Or the production of the service and it's inseparable, which means that the staff who actually produces the service, it's almost the same. So if you take what do you call a waiter who is coming to serve food, and you claim that your food is nice, and the waiter is sharply dressed, it doesn't look appealing. How would that assure you that the food is nice? Because there's inseparability. And then the consumption and production is actually taking place at the same time, all right? Sometimes, for example, if somebody is actually, what service that you think the consumption and production is taking place at the same time in the hotel? I mean, if you take hairdressing and things like that, it's easy to identify them. because once they are doing your hair, that's production taking place. Consumption is also taking place. But in a hotel, which of the services consumption and production taking place? Maybe the bed, isn't it? Sleeping time. So the feeling of the room, the ambience, the air condition. Some of the hotels, all right, the air condition is like Pupurumaja. Immediately you get a switch on the air conditioner. How can you sleep? You know, in that kind of air condition, that is like Pupurumaja. Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
I think
yes, sir.
Went off.
Yeah,
It froze.
I was kicked out. Okay, so let me get it back. Okay, yeah. So I was talking about a hotel, you know, air condition that is like Pukurumaja. Yeah. So you are sleeping in a hotel, air conditioned noise alone does not allow you to sleep because it's go. You get it. So these are some of the instances that you know you want to avoid to make sure that you know the what's this? Sorry about that. I think I've okay. How come that I clicked on something and my screen is gone fuzzy? Do you still see the slides?
Yes.
I've lost mine. There was a pop-up on my screen. These betting people, I don't know how come they got onto my screen. I've lost my slides. Sorry about this. I'm trying to figure it out. Okay, guys, let me log out and come in again.
Okay.
Okay.
Hold on. Okay, I've got it. I've got it back. Yeah, I've got it back. Thank you. All right. So yeah. So you want to make sure that you know the service quality. You're looking at the measures that actually would actually establish, or some of the factors that would actually establish the service quality without losing it. And then another issue, the characteristics of the hospitality is about the perishability, you know, of the service. That when a service is not consumed, surely you cannot actually, you know, put it on the shelf to be resold the following day, unlike what you do with product. All right, you can't store it. So you have to ensure that the service is actually consumed, and that's why yield management is important. Yield management in a strategy is important. So you can't say that because a room is 150 Ghana cedis, even at off-peak period, you are still saying 150 Ghana cedis. All right. How do you actually engineer an occupancy? I mean, restaurant. How do you engineer, people buying the food so that you don't lose out in terms of revenues, so you don't lose out in terms of, some of the ingredient going waste, etc. What are some of the things that you guys do to ensure that you could achieve, revenue maximization room occupancy, or you can ensure yield in your facilities? What are some of the things that you do? Yeah. Aram, come in.
Oh, okay, so some of the things we can do, let's say in terms of room occupancy, is during our peak periods, we increased our price. And then when you're in a lean seasons, we beat the price down a bit, or we do promotions, or we offer discounts as well, so that at least we can have some people staying in the hotel than no one staying there at all, so that we can gain some revenue.
That's right.
Yes.
That's good. Good point. So always about, being on top of the seasonalities.
Yes, please.
So you know that the season of January to, in fact, what's the peak period for most of the facilities in Ghana? Which period is the peak period?
Well, I think that it doesn't cut across.
Okay.
Yes.
There are different segments of the hotel industry.
Okay.
The smaller hotel, for example, if it is Valentine, if it is Christmas, that's the time they get more.
Yeah.
But some of the bigger hotels, if it is Christmas, people are at home. They want to be with their families.
Yes.
And so they may not come to entertain. They may not come to patronize hotel rooms.
Yeah.
So during December, early January, it's not that good. You know. Yeah. But the smaller hotels, it's rather good for them when it is, occasional time.
So in between December. Yeah. So between December to January, what are some of the things that you engineer for youth, or you most of them do, to actually gain some revenue?
Okay, so for example, in the hotel industry, because during that period, December to January, our rooms will not sell. What we'll do is we'll sell our restaurants, because for that, we know people will patronize it. So we concentrate we concentrate on that aspect, and then we can yield revenue through.
Yeah. And then other what do you call, maybe gaming facilities, or maybe swimming pools and things like that.
Yes.
But that depends on those who have those things, isn't it?
Yes.
And some organizations also attach secretarial or administrative things, to them. So like having internet, printing services, so that when, even if they have some few guests, they may be using some of these services, to make up. All right. Good. Yeah. So the eatery restaurant, what do you guys do?
Hey, we are busy. No, we don't have waiting space. I work 24 hours.
Wow. Charlie, you guys are in good business.
And then Val's Day, so December, January, February. Sometimes after Val's Day, so it's normally slow, middle of March or early March. Yeah. So right from November, when people start arriving for Christmas, it gets busy. But December, we do 24 hours. I hardly sleep during December.
Hey, Mami, we always got. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Quick question, please.
Yeah.
It's a little deviation, but still in what we are doing.
That's right, of course.
1 minute of it. I wanted to know, I was hoping that we'll have a course like revenue management as well.
Okay.
In our course outline.
Yeah, it's in your second semester. In fact, I'm teaching that for the second year group.
Hey,
okay.
That's nice.
Yield or revenue management. Yeah, it's in the second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then I didn't check well. Thank you.
No, that's all right. Yeah. It's under rooms and accommodation,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll teach you analytics,
all right.
How to do occupancy calculations and all those things.
Okay.
So it's in that.
Because when you were asking the question about what are some of the how prices are reduced or how we go about it. That was when the revenue also came to mind.
That's right. Yeah. So yeah, it's
in terms of getting pricing.
Yeah, and that's also core. So you get to know all those things.
Okay, thank you.
That's okay. Thanks. All right, good. So let's see. Yeah, again, other unique characteristics of industry. Of course, we talked about perishability and all those things. Yeah. Okay. And variability, as we said, the variability is just like the heterogeneity of the service. So in this case, how do you make sure that you keep the quality standardized? So you want to make sure you're giving, constant training. People are actually, getting the same training, and then you do we codify? I'm sure we would do. Do we codify the service provision in your sectors, that if someone has to serve, these are the processes you have to go through?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Even cooking.
Exactly. So you have your cooking methodologies, etc., isn't it?
Yes, please.
In order to ensure that the quality is not variable. So today is nice, tomorrow is brown, next day is pinky, and all that. So you want to make sure you codify the processes, you standardize the processes. So it doesn't matter whether it's a Ajua or Ama who are doing the cooking, the taste should be the same, just like Ghana city, old and new city. The value is the same, right? Yeah, so it should be to ensure that standardized, Okay. So obviously, in the industry, it's about return on investment, like any other. So we have to actually work to profit, etc. Right? Yeah. Kasi, you want to say something?
No, please.
All right. Okay. Let me see. It's almost 7:30. I think we can close. All right. So guys, we can close so that we don't get bored. Or you want to?
Sir, please question.
Yeah, go on.
No, this like concerning lessons. How many times would you be meeting us within the week so we can?
Okay.
No, because today on the roster we thought we didn't have a class actually.
Oh, okay. I think it's twice a week.
Okay.
Each lecture is twice a week.
Oh, okay. For all the subjects.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
And I think we're supposed to teach 10 times. Each of us teaching 10 times.
Within the semester?
Yeah, within the semester. So I'm going to meet you 10 times for this. Any other ones teaching other courses the same way.
Okay. So, sir, would you be meeting us today, like this day, and then the other, like, do you have a specific day?
I think you have a class tomorrow. We have a class tomorrow morning, 7:30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you have a class tomorrow, 7:30.
So, sir,
all right.
Sir.
Yeah.
Yes, the other time you said that there was a course that had been taken out. I think food and catering services management or something. I think we were supposed to have that, but you came in with the information that it has been taken out.
Yeah, we took because the electives were too many.
Okay.
Okay.
You guys are not plenty. So in order to ensure that there is you can focus and sort of have an absolute experience.
Okay.
We decided to remove some of them because if you have about 5 electives and then let's say the two people choose one, all right, another 2 people choose another one. You're in class with 2 people, it won't be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you're only 2. So that's why we remove some of them to make sure that at least there's an experience.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the reason.
And also the timetable, I don't know how it's done anyway. Those of us who have not registered before, who are yet to be registered, what it means is that when you see the abbreviation of the course, you are just you are just confused. Actually, me, for example, I don't know whether this course name is like this. I only see the code of the course.
The code.
So
okay.
it is making us find it. Me, for example, it makes me find it difficult to know, is it course A, B, A, B, A, B?
You mean when you are registering, right?
No. Like currently, what is on the timetable? You just see the code of the course. For example, in some cases, you see that the code is there, as well as the name, the actual name of the course. But in this case, the actual name of the course is not written. But because we have not, some of us have not registered yet, when you see the code, you are not able to identify, is it food and beverage? Is it hotel accommodation management?
Yeah, I think the first timetable had the names on it.
Yeah.
Maybe some of you didn't see that one. It had the names on it. So
yeah, I didn't see it.
Okay, I think that's the reason why. But you can check with your colleagues.
Yes, I have it. So what I have done is to print both out. So I try to check it. When I look at the code, I go to that one and then check what it is. It was sent by mail.
I don't have it, so.
Okay, maybe I could.
They will share it for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, guys.
Yeah, go on. Have still not received our letters.
The admission letters, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're in the process of sending the the UGCS. The UGCS had actually, the clearance had been given. So UGCS is supposed to send the letters from their end. Hopefully, they will send it soon. But you have up to, the registration, you have up to some point to register. So that one, is not actually a big issue,
Okay.
Yeah. Because
Kobe, what the issue now is that we need to some of the lectures are saying they'll put the slides on Sakai and all that.
Yeah.
Accessing it now is a problem.
Yeah. So I will actually check with them to send you by email, maybe the class rep.
It can maybe be sent in a group, like the WhatsApp group, after lectures. You just send us a slide so some of us can print it and then go through before the next lecture.
Yeah, that's true.
Sure, cool. I'll pass it on to them. But you have my slides, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right. So I will send the tapes as well.
Sir.
Yeah.
Please, also, when we receive the admission letter, are we supposed to write a letter of acceptance or something? Because I don't think some of us have done that.
No, I didn't think so. I think that having paid is an acceptance enough. We need we need the money more than the letter.
Okay.
Yeah, so that should be.
So, sir, yesterday I called them because my name was captured halfway.
Oh,
yes. My name's Adre. So they gave me two names, and I was scared that maybe the actual admission letter from graduate school they may continue with the two names. My name is Jima Bawa Kasim, but they wrote Jima Kasim. Eliminating the bar. Meanwhile, my first degree certificate, that is how it's captured. And I also realized that the GCB cashier made a mistake by misspelling the Bawa. So I told the lady at the business school that is not how reference should be made to my first degrees which I used to apply.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm just, and the lady also assured that it won't be done that way. So I'm just telling you so that in case.
All right. So I'll follow up with the admission letters.
Okay.
And then make sure that the names are spelled correctly. Yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So let me introduce the TA so that Gilbert is here. Gilbert, introduce yourself.
Hello. Okay, so I'm Gilbert, Dr. Kobe's TA. I'm currently done with my MPhil degree and awaiting graduation. Yeah. So anytime Doc is indisposed, I will take over. If you have any questions or some kind of tutorials, you can reach out to me. Okay.
Thank you, Gilbert.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gilbert, will you leave your number or something?
All right, guys.
Feedback.
Okay, so I think he will add his email address and then telephone number.
Okay.
If you have to reach him, you can do it. All right. Okay. Any questions or contributions? All right, guys. So thank you. I will send the link for tomorrow. I think tomorrow is 7:30. Okay. So please, if you are chilling tonight, make sure that you have a class. you have a class tomorrow to attend. So you set your alarm. It shouldn't prevent you from chilling, but set your alarm.
Okay.
And unfortunately or unfortunately, if you come to class and you are moody, I may not even say it. Because, but I'll call your name so that you can answer questions. So you don't sleep. All right, guys. I'm grateful for coming.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Good night. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Hi guys. Good night to everybody.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night, Kasim.
Bye.